Welcome to a presentation of the Trimark Press Publishing Authors Showcase. I'm Barry Chesler, publisher at Trimark, and today we are pleased to have with us attorney Rick Hussey, who has penned The Hedgecock Friasko, this year's best-selling mystery thriller. Welcome, Rick.
Well, thank you, Barry. It's great to be here. Thank you for that nice opening.
Well, the opening is only indicative of what we expect of the book, and if the opening was good, then we expect the book to be great.
Well, I hope you're right.
I'd like to present to you a series of questions so that our viewers can get a better understanding of you and of the book that you've penned.
All right.
Okay? Rick, what did you do to become a writer, or what prompted you to become a writer?
Well, I actually took creative writing in college, and my professor recommended that I go to law school. So I took that as a challenge. I figured someday I'm going to write a book.
Right.
Well, it took a long time to do so, and ultimately I finally did.
What was the motivation, perhaps, for The Hedgecock Friasko?
I don't know. I've been thinking about ideas for a book for many years, and I've been a runner for a number of years, and I ran over the 17th Street Bridge about 100 times, and you get into that state where you're running where your mind goes elsewhere and you drift off on different thoughts, and I thought about writing a book about a guy who gets shot on the bridge, and the question was why, and why was he there, and why was he shot, and that's the only thing I had to go on to begin this book.
So basically, what I'm hearing from you is you tied the Hedgecock Friasko and the location of it to Fort Lauderdale because that's been your total orientation. And this running that you did kept you involved with Fort Lauderdale, right, and then where you'd go from there.
Right. My wife really motivated me to write the book because she said, "You said you're going to write a book someday. When are you going to do it?" So this conversation came up every few years, and well, someday. So ultimately, I finally did.
The hero of the Hedgecock is a gentleman named Stephen Forrester. He's also a lawyer. Is Stephen a composite of people that you have met, someone in your own background, or strictly a figment of your imagination?
Well, I'd say he's a figment of my imagination, but obviously when you interact with people throughout your lifetime, you're going to absorb some of the traits of those people, and so he probably has some traits of people that I have met, but he's a totally fictitious character.
Can you explain the meaning of the title? How you got to? I mean, it appears to me these are made-up words.
It is. Friasko is a made-up word. It's a combination of fracking and fiasco because it's about a scandal involving fracking and that turned into a fiasco. So I combined the words and made it Friasko.
Would you like to give our viewers a little insight into the story behind the book without, of course, revealing too much because we want them to purchase the book? But
Right.
A little insight into where the book goes, how it starts, and run through it?
Well, as I said, basically I start off with the idea that this guy gets shot on a bridge running, and the question is why, what's he running from? And the theme that kind of developed was one of where someone wants to start a new life, and in his case it was one where he both had an opportunity and a necessity to start a new life. And the combination of those two motivating factors and then eventually the events that caused him to take the path he did and ultimately end up where he did.
Do you think this will be the first book in a series for the Hedgecock Friasko or for the characters themselves?
Yes, not really a series, but I think I will use some of the same characters I had in this book in a future book.
Mm-hmm. Are any of the characters in this book based on people that you know?
No.
Strictly all through imagination.
Exactly.
What do you want people to know about your hero, Stephen Forrester? What is it about him that makes him unique?
Well, I hope people find him interesting, and he's placed in a very difficult position, partly of his own making and how he gets out of it, and the choices he's got to make throughout the book to follow the path that he ultimately follows. And I don't know if I'm really trying to teach anybody anything, but this is how this particular character deals with the cards he's dealt.
While we understand that it's a fictional story, do you think that what occurs in the book could actually occur?
I think so. I think everything is believable. There's no supernatural or really out there type of events. Sure, there's some circumstances but I think everything is something that could have happened. I tried to make the book, visual for the reader, and tried to bring the characters alive, and tried to make their actions consistent with their characteristics.
Earlier on, you mentioned that you were somewhat inspired when you went to law school and got into writing. Was there any particular event or circumstance which truly inspired you to sit down and write this book?
In this particular case, I was injured in the hospital for some time and on crutches for a long time, so I had more time available to me than I normally would have. So and my wife bought me a new laptop and said, "Get to work."
What's next for Rick Hussey?
Well, I hope to do another one. Not sure when, how long it's going to take. I still am working full-time as a lawyer, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have to devote to it, and I don't know where it's going to go, how long it's going to take me.
Based on our read and our working with you to publish this book, we think it's truly going to be a bestseller. We would encourage people to go to Amazon.com and order the book. I think it's something they'll certainly be inspired by, and the story itself is fast moving and thrilling and would keep them involved. It's the kind of book that I'm sure people couldn't put down, and we encourage them to pursue and get the book.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, and I hope you're right.
We all do. Is there any closing thoughts you might like to give in relation to the book?
No, I hope people enjoy it. I try to write a book that I would like to read, and I hope people feel the same way about this book.
Well, we're on your side, Rick, and we all hope it does well. We thank you very much for being here today to work in our authors showcase for Trimark Press Publishing, and we look forward to a successful launch of this book. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.